create a sense of drama. I could tell them that she and I liked driving around and going thrift store shopping and watching movies and being in each other's presence. But those sorts of stories rarely make for engaging narratives. 2, not only is she not here to defend herself, she also isn't here to correct me on the details. I tend to forget timelines, to conflate incidences. When she and I would relay stories to friends, she was always correcting me on the things I'd gotten wrong. She'd remind me, "No, that didn't happen on that day," or, "We were living at whatever apartment when that occurred," forcing me to acknowledge that my memory is a sham and that every true story I tell is made into fiction by accident. 3, this is probably the most important thing I tell them. As much as I want to tell stories about her and the things she did, the way she was, it's all filtered through my memories. It all exists in the way I see things, the effect it had on me, in the ways in which those memories have stayed with me. Any story I tell about Erica is really a story about me. It's about the way she responded to my jokes, or the things she said that left an impression on me, my feelings about her. I have to remind the kids that every story I tell about her is really about my relationship with her, and that getting to know her through my stories is to get to know me better. They say that people are never really gone as long as they're remembered, and that by talking about the person, you keep them alive through memory. But maybe it's more about keeping ourselves alive. When a person dies, those memories you share together, they're half gone. It's up to you to remember them. It's up to other people to remember them when you are gone. When you die, and your memories have vanished into the ether, you have to ask, did the things that happened in your life actually happen? When you try to remember your past, and it's fuzzy, and you're unsure of the timeline or the order of events, how can you be sure what you experienced is real? Of course, I don't say all this to my children. I still have the decency to rein it in a bit. I don't want them to develop a complex or anything. At a certain point, you learn to guide a person's response when you tell them that your wife is dead. That, even at your relatively young age, you're a widower. It comes up in conversation more than you'd think. Even when you don't want to talk about it, it's there. It's the foundation by which you live. Let's say you're on a date. You've lived long enough in solitude and you're ready to go out and re-experience life. She asks you about your kids, because you've mentioned them in conversation. She says, "Do you and their mom share custody?" It's implied that you two have separated. And that's true, in a manner of speaking. You say, "No, their mom is deceased." You've chosen those words carefully. It isn't your wife, but their mom. Even though you still see her as your wife, because you've never broken up, but you want to suggest distance, personal growth. You aren't hung up on her anymore. You aren't married to a ghost. Deceased is also a good word. It's clinical but not entirely informal. "She's dead" comes across as blunt. "Passed on" is vague, and it requires the listener just a moment to work through the euphemism. But deceased is emphatic. "Oh," they say when you've told them. Usually a person will screw up their face for a moment. Sometimes it's genuine, and sometimes it isn't. There is always something performative about these moments, both for me and for the person receiving this information. "That's awful," they say. "I'm so sorry to hear that." You put your hands out so that you're showing your palms, as if to say, "I know, I know." What you actually say is, "Thank you." You say, "It was a long time ago." Your timing is precise. You've said this before dozens of times.